Today we're going to go over what it takes to really impact cultural change, true change within an environment. And we're going to use spreadsheets as an example because all of us use spreadsheets in everyday life. And for most organizations, it represents 30 to 60% of all of their data in their environment resides in a spreadsheet somewhere. And we're going to talk about what that's doing to organizations throughout the globe. So stay tuned. We're going to jump right to it. So here's the reality, and we're looking at this picture here, kind of where it takes a superhero, and you can see his superhero costume behind there on the reflection. It really does require that of an individual, a staff member, to really shift between what the norm is today to where they need to be, which is using automation to help them do their work. And for those of you that are using Office 365, and we're going to focus today's comments really on Office 365 change, the tools are there. We can implement the technology that will truly optimize the way that you do business. In fact, in most organizations that I work with, that calculates out to be a 30 to 40% increase in efficiency. So for an organization, a for-profit organization, that's 30 to 40% more time dedicated to increasing the bottom line. This is an investment that will pay off as you make the investment. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that change looks like. And I'm going to give you some real world examples on how that change is impacting. But we need to be able to make the change, get over the mountain, move what the new normal is, what the current normal is, which is using spreadsheets, move over that hill, and that hill represents the tasks and the effort required, to the new normal, which is, hey, let's impact this as a cultural change and move on to the next platform. So let's go ahead and talk about what that looks like. So here, for most organizations, upper left of the screen here, for most organizations, about 30 to 60% of their work, their data, is in a spreadsheet. Now, just this by nature limits sharing. It's really not manageable and scalable. And for many, many organizations, you realize that the scalability, you just can't access the data anymore. There's too many columns to the right, too much data to the bottom. It's just ugly, right? And then you embed different graphics. It's just a nightmare. And you're creating all these custom code and cells inside of those spreadsheets that's just creating this high risk of your inability to provide continuity within your organization. So, huge problem, and of course, certainly today, one of the biggest problems is that data inside of spreadsheets is almost never conducive to an AI or machine learning environment, which is another huge step forward to optimizing our workforces, making us more efficient, making us more profitable, whatever it is that you're seeking. So where is the future? The future holds really migrating these spreadsheets. I'm not against spreadsheets, and there are great uses for spreadsheets in the environments today. For example, you may be doing calculations. Calculations are great in a spreadsheet, right? Works great. We want to use it for that. But a majority of the spreadsheets that I run over are really row and column spreadsheets, meaning that they're just keeping people's data organized in rows and columns. That's it. And that in and of itself as an individual spreadsheet creates a real problem when we start looking at new technologies like generative AI, machine learning. It needs that data, and if the data in your environment is 30 to 60% distributed and you don't even know where it is, that's problematic. And so we need to migrate those either to organizational run data sources or into SharePoint lists as kind of a good, better, best model. Good is a spreadsheet, better is a list, best is an organizational enterprise data structure of some sort. But there has to be that momentum to move it forward. Once we're able to get that inside of a more scalable environment, either an organizational data source or a SharePoint list, now I can begin the exciting things. In fact, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Leveraging automation for reporting, high availability, being able to put, using Power Automate, being able to put a front end onto that spreadsheet in minutes using PowerApps, or being able to display that information easily within Power BI, or extend that data into the Dataverse, or API it into other data environments. All of that completely possible as you begin to migrate the data away from spreadsheets. You cannot do it easily within spreadsheets. I'll give you a great example. If I'm looking at moving in the future to an organizational data set, they're going to have specific requirements for column headers, for example, tags, things of that nature. If I'm in a spreadsheet, I'm disrupting business completely because I have to change everything about that spreadsheet, all the little everything. If I'm using a Power Suite inside of Office 365 and I have a Power App on the front end, I can change the information on the back end to suit, or I can even export that data using Power Automate into a whole nother data structure conducive to what it is needed by others. It's just very, very flexible. The other thing that moving away from spreadsheets provides is an enhanced continuity for especially for a transitional type of workforce. This allows the data to be centralized, and you're able to pass through multiple people with a consistent approach to how you manage that data and automate that data. Now, much of the automation, the Power Automate, as well as the Power Apps, those are easy. They're kind of, I consider, more set up and forget technologies. You get them up and running, and they run pretty consistently most of the time because nobody's in there dorking around with things and making changes because it's very consistent. You can also, in fact, I have seen in too many environments where we have duplicative, capture going on. A sub-organization is capturing information in a spreadsheet that's already provided at a higher level of that organization. They're just not aware of it. Wherein an API, for example, could take that data and move it to a different platform and allow the sub-organization, maybe they have a variance of 20%, they can put that 20% and not have to recapture the 80% that's already captured. I know I spoke in circles there. But the point is, reduce your level of effort. So what is the way forward? What is that path forward? First step, absolutely critical. Understand the details of your current applications, what their value is, the process used with those applications, and where their data is, what they're being used for, that type of information. Understand the data. That's the first and most important thing, and that includes spreadsheets. So I personally classify an application, quote unquote, application, as anything that inputs information or outputs information. So spreadsheets fall directly inside of that, and you will be amazed as you begin to collect the business requirements related to why people are using their spreadsheets. It will be highly enlightening, I promise. I have done it. I'm in the middle of doing it right now for an organization. It is very enlightening and really opens up the possibilities you have to make things happen and to make change. Second, you need to build work scopes that are specific to the spreadsheets that you're attacking, not a work scope that is, well, just help us migrate everything. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for really detail. We're in the first phase, we're understanding the details. Now we need to laser focus on what I need to do to help you, Joe Snuffy, be better. How can I help you take that spreadsheet that's costing you 20 hours a week to manage? How can I move that into Power Automate, into PowerApps, into SharePoint lists, into other data sources, and reduce your labor by 80%? How can I do that? So those work scopes, it's going to require investment, but they are work scopes that you can get after and really start impacting change. My suggestion is that you take them one at a time. So build out your work scopes and begin assigning those as individual tasks and track them as small, manageable sprints, as we would say in the development world. This will allow you maximum control over the work scope and over the work result. It does work better. And the third really path forward is turn the normal from spreadsheets into lists. Enhance your front end with Power Apps. Automate your back with Power Automate, and visualize using Power BI. All of these working together will indeed reduce your labor and your effort within your organization and make you more efficient. But it requires investment now. Take what you have, once you understand where you're at, take that, make the investment in developing those work scopes, get the jobs executed, take the high targets first, and then move out. Shift the culture. Really what we're looking to do here is change and sustain a cultural shift from using spreadsheets to using other forms of data that provide the same outcome that our customers and individuals within our organizations truly seek within their environments.